Oh my gosh, you would not believe what happened to me yesterday. It was so hard to get out of bed, I literally just could not do it. Then I went to Dunkin', and I very clearly ordered the 25-count munchkins, but there were only 24 in there. The nerve of them. Then, the Wi-Fi was so slow in there, I swear I turned 80 years old by the time Snapchat loaded. Why does everything always happen to me? How long did it take before you got annoyed with me? 1 sentence? 2? If you're a lot more patient than me, maybe until the last sentence? Sure, none of us like getting out of bed or when we don't get exactly what we ordered or when our phones aren't working. But should these things really make or break our day? How many of you know somebody like this who complains all the time? Yeah, I'm sure we all do. Unfortunately, we probably hear these things on a daily basis. It's called purposeless complaining. You're ranting about something, but not really with the intention of getting anything much out of the conversation. The thing is, people are not really interested in engaging in these types of conversations. But not only this, it's physically damaging to them. Research from Stanford University shows that listening to just a half hour of complaining each day physically damages a person's brain. It kills neurons in their hippocampus, which is responsible for emotion, motivation, and most importantly, memory. Damage to this part of the brain can result in amnesia and other serious conditions. You can see here that the hippocampus, where the arrows are pointing in the amnesic brain, is much smaller and appears shrunken compared to that of the healthy brain. But before I expand on this, I'm going to talk about something that I learned in school when I was much younger. You see, in 5th grade, somebody introduced the concept of bucket dipping to us. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it, but for those of you who are not, bucket dipping is the concept that when you say something positive about someone, you add drops to their bucket, making them happy. But if you say something negative about someone, you dip from their bucket, making them sad. I was reminded of this when I was researching for this talk because I thought to myself, what if when we complain, we not only dip from other people's buckets, but from our own as well? It turns out this is true. You may think that you're getting something off your chest when you're complaining, but in reality, it's just as bad to do the complaining as it is to do the listening. That same 30 minutes a day of complaining affects your brain regardless of if you are speaking or listening. It's the same effect. So my point is, complaining is like smoking. You don't have to be the one doing it to feel the effects. So each time you complain, your brain fires neurons. These neurons create pathways which allow information to travel faster. Each time you repeat a behavior, these pathways become more and more permanent, which allows you to perform that action easier over and over again. So when you complain, you not only send out negative hormones that put you and the people around you in a bad mood, you literally rewire your brain for negative behavior. So how does this pertain to us, particularly teenagers? Well, as teenagers, our parents always tell us, be careful when you're choosing your friends, you don't want to get mixed up in the wrong crowd. And as teenagers, we don't usually take them seriously. But I hate to break it to you, your parents are right. That's not to say that parents aren't at fault. How many times have you seen a post on Facebook like this? Dear jerk who just dropped off a dumpster beside our house, letting it crash from the truck. Thank you for waking up my son for the deepest and longest morning nap he's had in weeks. Now you come over and hang out with his grouchiness while I get some things done. Thank you also for spooking my dog who is now pacing under my feet. If I break a leg today, it's your fault. Sincerely, Brooke. Or one like this. Dear barista at Starbucks, why in the world did it take you 5 whole minutes for you to get me a lukewarm latte? Were you milking the cow yourself? Thanks for making me late for carpool again. Why does this always happen to me? So when you surround yourself with negative people like this, it makes you more negative yourself, making it easier to spread that negativity to others. It's a vicious cycle. Now, I believe there are 3 main reasons why people complain. The first reason, to get attention. The second reason, to excuse themselves from responsibility. And the third reason, to relate to others. So this first reason, to get attention. People enjoy receiving sympathy. Complaining focuses the attention on yourself, causing people to feel bad for you. This makes people feel satisfied because whether we like to admit it or not, most of us like having the attention on ourselves. The second reason, to excuse themselves from responsibility. How many times have you heard someone at work or school try and get out of an assignment or deadline by complaining about how stressed or tired they are, or what a busy night they had the previous day? The thing that people don't usually realize when they say these things is that, for the most part, we all have the same struggles while being expected to meet the same requirements. And we always have to keep in mind that there's always somebody worse off than us, somebody with more roadblocks, more things that get in their way of achieving their goal. And also, there are so many people that are less fortunate than us, because every day when I come into school, I hear somebody moan about how they had to show up to school in the first place, or how many pages they had to read for their English book last night. And this makes me angry, because I know that I will never truly know how privileged I am, but I do know that as an American, I receive so many more opportunities than kids in many other countries all over the world get. And the third reason, to relate to others. I believe that this is the most toxic reason, because we are unknowingly taught by society that the most viable means of communicating with one another is to find common grievances and make that the topic of conversation. You don't hear kids go up to each other and complain about how they don't have every single color crayon in their crayon box. They just color their son purple, and they don't think anything of it. And we can learn from this, because that teaches us that complaining is an acquired behavior, and the more we practice it, the more we teach it. However, the discussing of problems is not the main issue. The core issue is the lack of motivation behind it. It's like ordering a pair of jeans online, and they arrive with a hole in them. You're infuriated, and you complain to all your friends about it. But when they ask if you're going to email the company or write a review online, you say no. It's pointless. If you're passionate enough about something to complain about it, you should be passionate enough about it to do something about it. The complaints have gone so mindless, we don't even realize we're doing it just to hold a conversation. So the question becomes, why am I saying all of this? There's a global complaining epidemic on our hands, and it's affecting all of us, regardless of whether or not we are personally at fault. I want the people around me to be grateful for what they have, rather than feel sorry for themselves for what they don't have. So I challenge all of you. The next time you're about to complain about something for the purposes of getting attention, excusing yourself from responsibility, or simply to relate to another human being, find another way to express yourself. You'll see, the more positive you are to yourself and those around you, the more positive things will begin to happen to you. Thank you.